So for the user, we're going to implement comparable. Then we can compare an object user. Right. Comparator, there's two of them. One is comparator and one is comparable. So what we need is comparable. Okay. Now for extra credit, you will need to do comparator. Okay, extra credit here. Okay, and I have resource for that. You can look at. We cover that later. Now we actually want comparable. Okay. Implement the methods, right? Compared to. All right, so when we compare, we're going to compare user to user. So this is going to be user, right? User. So we're going to say return. We know that we're going to compare by username. So this dot username dot just use the method compare to object string. User dot get username because those are string. And that should work, right? Does not override. Oh, because it's looking for object. Okay. Then we can cast this to user. O user, because interface has the object, right? So we cast it back to user. So we're going to do equal. It pretty much just return true or false, right? If two objects are equals. Equals. Just the user. You return user dot. We're gonna compare equals with what? This dot username, right? To just use the same if it equals to you dot get username. But if two objects are the same, username and password should be the same. So we have to do and, right? This dot password dot equals to you dot get password. So that's for equals. But compared to, we only do one criteria by username order. Now we're ready to add the user. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a new test to test our method that we just created, the equals on compare to. Okay. All right, so we're going to create a user. A user equals to new user. And let's say username and password A. Enter, import, and let's say we're going to create a new user too. B user, username bat, password B. So we're going to test assert we want to test two object, right? Equals. This is Boolean, right? We can just assert true, right? Because equals return true or false, right? We expect actually assert false because we expect them to be not the same, correct? A user dot equals to B user. Okay, that's one test. Compared to, we have to assert it's return integers, right? So we can do assert equals and expected values. Okay, let's do assert equals. So we're gonna do, if we do a user, okay, this is a user compare to B user, what expected? It say here, if it's less than, return, right? This object is less than, return negative integers. So we expect to see what? -1, right? And this is an integer, -1, correct? Because a less than b by 1, right? Now we gotta do a user dot compare to b user. All right, so let's run the test. Okay, pass the test. So that means this is correct, right? Now, since it passed the test, look like compare to is good, then we are ready to add for order list. So first check insert the beginning, which is like if ll pointer equals to, right, current. And I'm going to have to create a current to use now. Because we need to keep tracking the list, right? So you're going to do something. And I'm not sure, sometimes you may just combine the code. Now I'm going to make it real quick since time is running out. Else you have to pretty much insert in between, right, and end. Okay, that's the logic. And then we can come back and look at this next time.